get itself together. You done lost it. You done lost it and found a new one. Peace and blessings, family. What's really good? What? Go out and teach. I could. But I'm gonna put making this group. One thing only. I think I already know what it is. Most high. Time to blow the lid off this thing. It is. Big stepping for who? The Most High, y'all. I'm sitting there listening to Sister Deborah, y'all. Deborah, y'all. That's why I say that. I say that to try to sound like I know something you don't know or they don't know. Come out from among them in that mindset. Oh, I gotta get some peanut butter. God. But it makes perfect sense. When you come into the light of truth, put on the mind of Mashiach. His mind is the word of the Father. What more do we need? Nada. But it makes sense. Think about everything we create is in our mind. It's natural. Like pollution, like Sis said. It's been staring me. I can speak from my life and experiences, from what I've witnessed and have been going through. As long as I'm in my flesh, operating according to how I think, I'm in trouble. It never fails. It doesn't work. Think about it. Everything the Most High created operates according to an instruction. He created and he gave it an instruction. Because why? When he created through his word, it automatically installs an instruction. It comes with a law to show you how to operate it automatically. Matter of fact, he said, I'm going to put it in your inward parts, in your heart. Tomorrow we got it for sure thing. But for some reason, at some point in time, man, act like you forgot this. I just got to pass the law. Talk about you, but it's not good at all. It's not the will of the Most High. There are a lot of people defending their flesh desires, the desires of their flesh. And when you, even us that's arguing it, you know, it is what it is. People understand the instructions. Come on, you know, 2 men can't create no damn baby. The fuck, how you gonna sustain life? Excuse my French, but how are you gonna sustain life? Nor can 2 women do it. So that means according to the truth, people that we listen to and been following are evil and wicked and idolatrous people. Just plain and simple. Even the ones that don't take the time, that claim they've been preaching all these years and doing all this, but they can't never give you a simple breakdown of who are God's people, Israelites. They're gonna tell you some bull crap about some, well, we Christians and this and that. The Bible don't declare that. So I don't declare that. I reject that. Bind it in the mighty name of Yahushua. And cast that lie out of the fire. Amen. Israel. God will know you the most high. Why? It's simple. We building a building, talking about we're going to gather here once a week. Kingdom is Israel. How you going? What? Why are you going to replace this king? And you certainly can't replace Jacob. That's his servant. Which means that's his servant. He's not doing away with them. The flesh, yes, because you're following what you know to be comfortable. You're not doing research. And this is dealing with your life. This word is covenant given to us by the Most High through our ancestors, passed on down generations. Operate in the natural law. They should. Why? Because the people we follow, who call themselves setting the agenda in the world and over the systems and corporations of the world, they're not his people, so they don't understand him. Deuteronomy 32. He don't know them. Psalms 147. Yeah, he know them now because he's here. He's in the midst of us. Spirit. He's here. He's right in the midst of us. He's the reason you even alive. Without that Ruach, you wouldn't be here now. You wouldn't be here. No citizenship for African spoiler.
So it's some very
Trump pissed off because African Americans invest in Africa. I've been telling people. I don't care what these people talking about. They wishing on to stop. Go directly invest with Africa. You don't need nobody trying to manage shit. That day is over with. America, you're going to have to stand up for yourself. Stop with the shenanigans. Come out of the world.
Even if you look at returns in Latin America and other developing countries, this case of high returns in Africa is definitely should encourage more UK investments in Africa.
Africa has tremendous business potential. I have so many friends going to your countries trying to get rich.
You're going to get rich.
I congratulate you. They're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it has a tremendous business potential and representing huge amounts of different markets. And for American firms, it's really become a place that they have to go, that they want to go. 6 of the world's 10 fastest growing economies are in Africa. Increasing American trade and investment across diverse industries, including agriculture, energy, transportation, healthcare, travel, and tourism, will further transform lives throughout the continent.
Let me begin with a truth so explosive, so undeniable, that it is shaking Washington to its core. The money that once fueled America's empire is leaving its shores. It is flowing straight into Africa. For decades, America depended on the labor, the sweat, and yes, the dollars of African Americans to keep its economy afloat. But today, the tide has turned. Billions, not millions. Billions are being redirected. Real estate in Accra, technology hubs in Nairobi, solar grids in Dakar, vast agricultural projects in Addis Ababa. African Americans are not just talking about Africa. They are investing in Africa, and every dollar that leaves America is a wound that the U.S. cannot heal. Washington is terrified because they never saw this coming. They always assumed the African American dollar would remain trapped inside their system, feeding their corporate. America calls this a crisis, but for Africa, this is liberation. For centuries, wealth flowed one way, out of Africa into Western coffers. Now history, it is a flood restoring her strength. And make no mistake, this is not just investment. This is rebellion. This is a revolt against centuries of exploitation. This is African Americans saying, no more. No more will our wealth build skyscrapers in New York while our villages lack schools. No more will our labor feed Wall Street while our people go hungry. No more will. Our futures be chained to America's collapsing empire. Do you see the panic in Washington? Do you hear the silence in Wall Street boardrooms? They know what this means. Every $1 billion invested in Africa is $1 billion lost to America's economy. Every African American who moves their wealth is another crack in America's fragile foundation. Every new business, every new farm, every new factory in Africa is one less dependency on U.S. control. And it is not just money, it is people. African Americans are moving back, buying land, opening schools, creating jobs, transferring knowledge. This is a brain drain like America has never seen, not because it is losing to Europe or Asia, but because it is losing to Africa. The very descendants of those who built America with their blood are now leaving with their wealth, their skills, and their determination. This is not just economics, this is prophecy fulfilled. For centuries, Africa waited for her children to return. Now they are coming, not as slaves, not as refugees, but as investors, as builders, as liberators. And America? America is trembling because it realizes it cannot stop this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the big...
I'm ready to go home. Africa. Send for your son.
Beginning of Africa's story. This is the climax. America is...
Hey, I'll pay you back later. Send for me. I'm coming to set up shop. We're going to run the car industry. We're going to hit these cars and a whole lot of other things. There's so much infrastructure to be set up. Africa, y'all got to send for you, brother.
Watching its own economy bleed. Watching its global influence slip. Watching its monopoly over African Americans collapse. And all it can do is panic. So let the world hear it clearly. The exodus has begun. The African American dollar is leaving America. The African American future is leaving America. The African American destiny is leaving America. And it is not going to Europe. It is not going to Asia. It is going home to Africa. And once Africa and her diaspora stand together, once billions turn into trillions, once opportunity becomes ownership, there will be no empire, no superpower, no nation on this planet that can contain Africa's rise. That is why the U.S. is furious. That is why the world is watching. And that is why history is being written before our very eyes. Something extraordinary is happening across the globe, and though it is barely whispered about in the halls of Washington and the boardrooms of Wall Street, the shockwaves are undeniable. For the first time in modern history, African Americans, a community that has endured centuries of systemic exclusion and economic sabotage in the United States, are moving their wealth, their creativity, and their future into Africa. And they are doing it in numbers and in ways that are sending America into panic. For generations, African Americans were told their destiny was tied permanently to America. They were told to work twice as hard, to fight for inclusion, to climb ladders that were deliberately greased against them. They were told that if they stayed loyal, if they played by the rules of the American dream, the system would finally recognize their worth. But decade after decade, the promise was broken. Wealth gaps widened, redlining stripped communities, predatory lending devoured businesses, and black entrepreneurs were starved of capital while Wall Street enriched itself. Now, something new is happening.
They got a few people that support them, but overall, as soon as you eat, shit come right back out. You don't eat all that shit. I'm talking about me. Lord, That's why I barely eat. Soon as y'all food is like eating McDonald's. Soon as y'all eat, that shit come right back out. Like, what the? I don't be eating all that stuff. My lady did. One of my lady friends told me, you should put on some weight so she can squeeze your butt. Put on some weight with what? The food ain't shit. Put on weight with what? You can eat this food. You alright? Like you haven't tasted too much of it. I'm watching all this. All that satanic shit. Yeah. I said I was gonna make some stuff. I wouldn't fuck with no Halloween if you paid me to. Excuse my French. I wouldn't mess with no Halloween if you paid me to. You too grown for all that. You too much kids. What kids? Kids are fucking goats. I got children. I don't have no kids. A kid is a goat.
Happening instead of pleading for a broken system to accept them. African Americans are looking across the Atlantic to Africa and finding they're not only eager to welcome them, but and exploding with opportunities that dwarf what the United States can offer. This is not charity, and it is not nostalgia. This is power. African Americans are pouring billions of dollars into Africa's investment. Empire into real estate, technology, agriculture, oil, mining, logistics, energy, and culture. The numbers are staggering. In just the last few years, diaspora investment funds have swelled. Private businesses have shifted headquarters to Lagos and Accra, and African Americans are forming partnerships with African governments on a scale America never imagined possible. Why is this happening? Because Africa is rising and it is rising on its own terms. Let us speak plainly. Africa is the last economic frontier on Earth, and the West knows it. The continent holds the world's largest reserves of cobalt, gold, diamonds, uranium, lithium, and fertile farmland. Its population is young, innovative, and growing faster than any other. Its cities are modernizing at breakneck speed with new skyscrapers, ports, railways, and digital economies transforming entire nations. Its governments, though still facing challenges, are increasingly bold enough to reject exploitative Western contracts and chart their own paths.
Wake up.
For African Americans, this is more than business. It is history correcting itself after centuries of being robbed of land, robbed of labor, and robbed of wealth in the United States. African Americans now see Africa as the place to build legacies not for survival, but for power. Imagine the symbolism of an African American entrepreneur. Denied funding in New York finds not just capital, but full partnership in Lagos.
Pay attention. That's what I be talking about, family, right there.
Expertise to Ethiopia or Ghana, where fertile land awaits and governments seek diaspora partnerships. Every story like this is a story of reversal, a story of justice, and Washington knows it. Already, the cracks are showing. The U.S. agricultural sector, once reliant on steady exports to African nations, now finds itself
You want out? There we go. Peace and blessings with the love of Yahushua. Shalom.